welcome everybody to another AfrOtaku interview. I'm one of your hosts, MGG, and I got my co-host here.
What up, what up, what up? I am Gramps.
Yep, and we got another special guest on the podcast today. Today we have Sensei Le Glove. He has his own YouTube channel and also co-host of the Worst Generation podcast. So make sure you go check that out. But Sensei Le Glove, why don't you tell the people a little bit more about you?
Yo, man, what's cracking, man? It's your boy Sensei Le Glove, the bald head black anime nerd. Like you guys said, I am a One Piece YouTuber. I also am a co-host of the Worst Generation podcast. I am a content creator, obviously. I'm a gamer from Chicago.
Shout out to Chicago. That's where we from.
Yeah, man.
Southtown, baby.
Southside. So yeah, man. I've been on my anime shit for a long ass time. I've been on my content creator shit just starting this year in January. So it'll be a year for me doing this content creator shit like January 20th. So I'm excited for that. But I'm just happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Yep, no problem. So why don't we jump right into it? So can you tell the audience a little bit more about like how you got started? You said you started earlier this year. What got you into wanting to make YouTube videos about One Piece? Tell us your journey.
I actually have been wanting to have a YouTube channel for a long ass time, but I just was procrastinating and putting this shit off, thinking that I needed to be so much better than, you know what I mean? Like, I need to have this super fucking camera. I need to have this super fucking mic. I need to have a big ass backdrop. I need to have my own place to do it at. I need, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of these audio barriers, and I need super headphones and like a lot of shit. And it was just, my friends just had to tell me, like, yo, like, just do the shit. Like, obviously, my inspiration came from just watching other YouTubers do the shit. I love One Piece and I like talking about it, but my closest group of friends that are in the anime either don't like One Piece or they like it, but they shit on it all the time. So you don't want to talk to people that shit on One Piece all the fucking time, especially when you're very passionate about it. So I really needed a place where I could just kind of like get that shit off. You know what I mean? Like I just want to talk about it. And because I know that there's a lot of motherfuckers on YouTube that talk about One Piece openly and freely, I'm like, man, I can do this shit. You know what I mean? So I just said, fuck it, got my my iPhone, put that bitch up on like some pop figures. So I had it like sitting up and I just pressed record and just got to talking.
What were some of the top YouTube channels that inspired you?
Brago D Ace, BDA Law, fuck with Brago Heavy, Rogers Base, Teching 101. I was really into For Never World at one point. I've fallen off from. I've kind of like, I don't want to say outgrown his content, but it just doesn't resonate with me like it used to. What else? Who else?
King of Lightning.
King of Lightning for sure. His stream's funny as hell. Joy Boy. It's something about the theories. It's something about how that nigga be talking. Like it's not like on some, you know what I'm saying, homosexual shit. It's just like the way he be delivering his theories be making you, he could say any fucking thing. Like, I think Luffy used to be a straw back in the day. Like, he could say some goofy shit like that, and you fuck around be rolling. And I've always, like, I've stayed away from theories for the most part just because I feel like I won't be able to deliver it the way that he delivers it. And when it comes to theories, delivery is, like, key. Oh, yeah. But yeah, man.
He got that music touch, man. That music,
all of that shit. And he knows how to mellow his voice out. Like, it's good. Like, it's fucking good. I've spent time analyzing that shit. But yeah, mainly my main ones that I watch their reviews constantly. Joy Boy, Rogers Base, Brago, and some others. Obviously, I watch people's videos because just now that I'm in the One Piece community, it's just customary that I watch other people's videos just to see some of their thoughts. So when I talk to these niggas, I'll know what the fuck they what they think. Oh yeah, you said in your video this, nigga, and then they be like, that was just for my followers. You know what I mean? Like, all right. But yeah, that's pretty much where my inspiration came from.
Here's a question I'll ask, because I feel like I'm into a lot of those bigger stream YouTubers as well. But the problem I had, and like why I think we started like the channel and the podcast, is like I felt like it was always good feedback. Like the author could do no wrong. And I felt like sometimes they write bad chapters. Do you like agree or disagree with that statement?
That like Oda or any authors of any manga have bad chapters or chapters that aren't that good.
Yeah. Like Boku no Hero included, One Piece included, all of
for sure. I agree. Every chapter not gonna be fire. Like I don't know.
But I felt like I rarely ran into that, like especially because King Lightning was the guy I was super a fan of, and I like his content. Don't get me wrong, and
Right.
same thing with like Rogers based on stuff. But even if it was a chapter that I felt like was meh, I felt like in the YouTube community,
They would say it was good.
yeah, it was always like
So
they found some other reasons it was good. And I'm like,
here's the thing. Here's my take on that. Because I've been doing this and I know I've had a couple situations where there was a chapter that I read and I didn't like it, or I had issues with the chapter. So it's never, when it comes to One Piece, which is mainly what I review chapter to chapter. Like I do One Punch Man content, I do Attack on Titan content,
right.
but mainly my chapter reviews are going to be One Piece because that's coming out week to week consistently. So there has been a couple times where there's been chapters that I've had an issue with, like the most recent one, for instance, was the one right after 958. Was it 958? When right after that big bombshell with all those bounties, and we got back to Wano, and it was like Act 3 started. It was only like 14 pages or some shit,
right?
And it was a cliffhanger. I was pissed. Like that chapter was like bad for me. For me, not 957, obviously, the one after that.
No, I
but
agree.
It was like when I knew I had to do a review. I didn't want if the people. I feel like the people watching my reviews either fuck with me or they fuck with One Piece, and they just want to hear what I think about it.
Right.
So I never want to come off when it comes to One Piece. Other shit I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I never want to really come off like a hater or a nigga that don't really fuck with the content, because I love One Piece. Don't get me wrong, but I am man enough to admit shit that I don't like. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to really be able to critique the shit that you love. Like, I feel like those are like, when you love some shit, you really are the only person qualified to critique it. So while I'll never say, yo, this is a badass chapter, I hate this, I will say I had a problem with this, and this. And so, like, at the end, my review may sound like, I mean, the chapter was cool. I just didn't like blah, 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 blah. And that in the One Piece community means this is a bad chapter. But like, we won't really say this is a bad chapter, because then our comments are gonna be crazy. Like, bad chapter. Oda can do no wrong. You're fucking dumb. You know,
I totally feel you on that, but I guess we got people on our podcast that's very similar in that. Like, even if we know the chapter wasn't that great, because we have like our own rating system, they still won't give it below like the medium level that we have.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those. I just feel like sometimes you gotta just put it in people's face. Like, it wasn't great. Like, Oda's a great writer. Don't get me wrong, but just because you're a great writer doesn't mean you're not gonna have bad chapters.
Exactly.
And I felt like
that's a fact.
The more honest we are about it, the better, because people live in these like bubbles of like, oh my god, One Piece is so great, and then the moment you say like, all right, well, what about this part? Because they like, you know what I mean, everything they see is telling them like, even if it's bad, it's still okay. It's like, no, fam, it was bad. Like,
yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, bro. I'm rolling with that shit. But like, it just when you really love some shit. I know me personally, when I really love some shit, it's really hard for me to just say that shit.
I totally feel you. I feel that way about Hunter x Hunter. I'll give you that.
And what's crazy is, all right, I know we could have gotten to this a little bit later, but like, what's crazy is Hunter x Hunter is like my second favorite anime of all time. Like, I feel like that's the second greatest anime of all time, next to One Piece. And I have a friend who loves Hunter x Hunter to death and thinks it's the best shit popping, which I won't like. I'm not gonna. I disagree with it being number one, only because my number one is One Piece, and that's just gonna be what it is. But the reality of it is, Hunter x Hunter is like one of the greatest shits I've ever like. As far as the anime, I didn't read the manga because Tagashi can't draw for shit. But like,
come on,
the anime is fucking amazing. Like, it's great. Madhouse did a great job adapting it. The pacing was well. The story is great. The writing is great. It's great. But like, and I don't really have any gripes with Hunter x Hunter as a story. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a series at all. But like, the production, like, you know what I'm saying, getting all into the production and all this other shit, that's how people really nitpick Hunter x Hunter. But my friend who loves Hunter x Hunter, he will nitpick everything else. One Piece is his number two.
Yeah.
He will nitpick everything else and like make it seem like, yeah, no, Hunter x Hunter would never. And it's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like most of your complaints are opinion based, which is all of our shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, you know what I'm saying, there are no real facts behind what you don't like. You just don't like what you don't like. Like I can say the Chimera arc was great, but it was slow as fuck. And like, you know what I mean? Like I can say that the same way someone can say, yeah, One Piece is good, but it had a couple arcs that didn't move the plot.
Right. I mean, I totally agree, but I do think I half agree with you on the like you can't definitively prove that it's bad. I think like with enough collective opinion, you can probably prove that something is maybe not like bad 100% of the way, but definitely not good.
Well received.
If
Yeah,
that
I
makes
got you.
sense. Yeah. Like I think people still don't fuck with Fairy Tail off the end, but I know some niggas that ride for Fairy Tail hard. But I just go like I understand their perspective on it. My perspective on why it was trash was like it didn't grow with the audience.
Right.
So niggas grew up and then Fairy Tail didn't. So then it just kind of got like, all right, this is boring now.
What's funny is I know niggas that never seen Fairy Tail and think Fairy Tail is trash. Like that's how
does that work?
That's how bad of a rep Fairy Tail has. Like
but
Fairy
I can't
Tail,
fuck
I heard
with
that
niggas
shit
that
trash,
do that
bro.
though.
I'm not watching that shit. It's like, damn.
No, I don't like. That's that bandwagon shit though. That's what I don't like. That's what people.
But
did
you
to
know, it's a lot of
Black
that. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of that though.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, but I like calling that type of stuff out because I feel like it's like I get you. If someone asks, if you ask somebody's opinion, like, "Oh, should I watch Fairy Tail?" I'll be like, "I don't think it's worth the time investment." But now, if I told you that, and then you went around and started giving out recommendations saying it's trash, like you watched it,
right.
Then I think that's kind of goofy. Like, why would you do that? Yeah. Like, you might say this other person told me it's trash for this reason, but just saying, oh, it's trash. It's the same thing people say like Black Clover's trash off like the first episode because Ash's voice was loud, and they just ride that thing, but they've never seen any other episode after that.
And
like,
low key the same shit with One Piece, motherfucker. Yeah. Bro, I'm not watching One Piece. That shit 900 episodes. This 900 chapters. This all that shit, and it's like, okay, did you even watch it? You know what I mean? Like you gotta watch it to be able to really critique it. So it's just motherfuckers like that. I just kind of like tune out. Like, all right, you just
or they'll also go based off of how the characters are drawn. I've heard plenty of times.
Oh my god,
I hate the way they draw. Little ass legs, big up bodies.
All that shit.
That's gonna keep you away from watching the whole damn show. Okay,
and it's a real thing though. Like, cause I think even early on, I kind of was straying from One Piece because of that the drawing thing. But what people forget, it's like kind of once you get into it, you just get used to it.
Accept it. The same with JoJo. Like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is probably the antithesis of like bizarre fucking artwork and crazy ass characters. Yeah. Like it ain't like people ain't built wild as hell, but everything else surrounding JoJo is wild as hell.
Yeah, besides the first season. The first season doesn't set it up at all to like what you're gonna get later.
No, but like part 2, part 3, part 4, like all of them parts, like it's like, yo, what the fuck? Dogs getting their face bit the fuck up. Like it's all type of crazy shit going on in JoJo. And like people be like, bro, I don't like the art style. I don't like how these characters are. I don't like how weird it is. It's like, gee, once you get into it, this shit you're gonna get used to that. Like that's why I tell people you can't just watch JoJo Part 5 and just think that it's going, like, you know what I mean? Because you're gonna see that weird ass shit and be like, yo, what the fuck is this? No, you gotta gradually build up to that shit where you can get used to seeing these dumbass things happen. You can get used to somebody being around the corner that you know is an enemy, but the main character don't know it's an enemy, and you know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers trying to think of, you know what I mean? Like you'll get irritated watching that shit on first glance, but if it's a gradual build up, like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, since we're already on One Piece, I'm gonna skip the first anime question, and I kind of want to go jump straight to Zoro versus Sanji. Then I might ask you who your favorite One Piece character is.
Zoro versus Sanji, or like
not Zoro versus Sanji. Sorry, there's a Zoro fan club and a Sanji fan club, as you know, in the One Piece universe.
ZP0,
huh?
SP0 and ZP0.
What you mean?
Oh, you don't know about that? So like on Twitter, there has been a there's been a war. It kind of calmed down now because a lot of people was getting like banned from Twitter and shit over it. But there was like a back and forth war going between Zoro fanboys and like Sanji fanboys. Yeah. It was Sanji's group was SP0 and Zoro's group was ZP. Like SP0 was already a thing.
Uh-huh.
And then ZP0 came along.
Got it. Okay.
To
See,
like
I'm not the
counteract
Twitter
it.
guy. I'm the Instagram.
Now let me guess. CP0 is for Chopper.
There is no. Everybody hates Chopper on Twitter.
Damn.
Got him.
Everybody hates Chopper on Twitter.
Hey,
But
man,
it started like that whole like the groups of motherfuckers that fuck with people thing. It started with people like the theory that Zoro was gonna kill Kaido. So like the group was the group was right. The group was ZKKC. Zoro kills Kaido Club.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then it kind of like it broke off from there. SP0, CP0. Yeah.
Okay, so outside of the Twitter attachment or meaning of this, which fan club are you a part of?
I am a Zoro fan before I am a Sanji fan, but I am also a Sanji fan.
Got it. Okay.
Like, I'm a huge fan. I fuck with both of them. Like,
see,
it's Zoro, Luffy, Sanji for me.
I used to fuck with Sanji. I used to be a diehard Sanji fan, and then I had to leave the club after Whole Cake. I was just so disappointed with what Oda did to his character. I was kind of just like, I can't. Sorry. And people were defending him tooth and nail, like that was a great arc for Sanji and great things happened for him. And I'm like,
it depends on what you're looking at. It depends on what you're looking at.
I don't think any of it was character development though. Like, people argue like, okay, maybe it wasn't combat character development. We all know he didn't really, in my opinion, have any real combat character development.
Right.
But if they say, oh, well, Sanji and this whole girl storyline, he finally found a girl he loved. Well, Oda erased that at the end of the arc.
Yeah, I'm not even rolling with that.
Right.
I
Why wiped him?
I feel like most people's defense towards Sanji's portrayal in that arc was more so that it was a
the backstory about his family.
Yeah, like the development was towards his family. Like, it was supposed to be the parallel between the Big Mom family and the Vinsmoke family, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it was that's kind of what they cling to as far as, no, this was excellent because, he started off the arc trying to defeat his dad, but he realized that fighting wasn't the way to win, and you weren't going to beat your family, but, you weren't going to be better than your family. Yeah, bro, it's some crazy shit. With that. I'm also not rolling with that shit. But I don't hate Sanji because of Whole Cake, or I don't dislike Sanji because I don't dislike Sanji at all. But I think that Oda definitely has dropped the ball on Sanji. And I personally think that it's because he is a troll. Like, we know he's a troll. But I think that
Oda or Sanji?
Oda.
Okay.
Oda is a troll, and I feel like he knows what people are expecting, and he does the opposite purposely. Yes. Yeah. So, like, after Marine 4, everybody that was into One Piece was like, yo, I need to see more of this shit. Like, I need to see all of these fights. And who the motherfuckers from the Straw Hats that fight? Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. So when we get to the New World, I need to see all of them beating ass.
Facts.
And
he only Zoro and Luffy get that.
Exactly. And Zoro has been shown the most love when it comes to fights.
100%.
And Luffy struggles every time, and Sanji never closes a fight. It's like he hasn't. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. If you don't understand like the confines of the story and you just watch Zoro fights, you would think that Oda's trying to say Zoro's stronger than Luffy. But we know that can't be true. Exactly. But it's just like all of his fights, he never goes all out so far since the time skip.
Yeah, and it's literally only a character portrayal. Yeah. It has nothing to do with power scaling or anything of that nature. It's only a portrayal of characters. Like, Oda has not, post time skip, shown Zoro struggle whatsoever. Like, he hasn't been bleeding. He hasn't been roughed up. Like, he throws the bandana on and it's lit. Like, he hasn't, you know what I mean? There has been no struggle. I don't even think he's gotten hit by anything or anyone.
Yeah, he did.
He got hit.
And Wano. He got hit by
later. Oh wait, you said Wano? Okay,
oh, yeah, Buddy was trying to run his fate and Wano.
Killer, right? Oh wait, do y'all caught up in the market before?
Oh yeah, 100%. We do.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Killer. That was the first time he got even touched since the time skip. The time skip was fucking 598.
What? That's crazy.
598, and it take fucking 400 chapters. before he even gets hit. Like, that's literally just character portrayal. Whereas Sanji, pre-time skip, he would, he was always that the knight, basically. He's the guy who was going to do some secret shit, come in last minute to save the day, save the damsel, save the crewmate, or, come in the clutch on some other shit, drop the drawbridge, or sneak onto the train and clear out niggas. But the difference is, back then, when he got into a fight, he was going to close the fight. It wasn't going to be a clash and now we run, clash and dash. Mm-hmm. He was gonna close the fight. This time, he has not closed the fight. And that's either, like, it has to be solely put on Oda's choice of not closing. He could have closed the Virgo fight, but no, we wanted to show off Law. It's like, all right, you know what I mean? Like,
they could have showed the page 1 fight also.
They could have showed the page 1 fight. They could have showed a whole lot of fights. I would have been okay with the Dofi clash being better. Like, the Dofi clash, like, people try to compare the Dofi clash to the Fujitora clash with Zoro. It's not the same. It is not the same. Like, the Zoro clash was portrayed like dude caught Zoro off guard, but Zoro is still back in the fight. The Dofi clash was like, if you stay here, you're getting fucked up.
Right.
Like, those are two completely different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the twist could have just been, I know that Luffy wants to fight you, so I'm not gonna fight you right now. That would have been it. No damage, none of that. Just clash, words, leave. I would have been cool. But, like, you just don't let him get fucked up and sail away? He's the strongest person there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck?
And then they just made a lot of shit jokey, like with the Hell's Memory stuff. Like, I was kind of just like, yo.
Yeah, man.
Stop.
If Sanji uses Hell Wink in Wano,
I don't think he's gonna do shit in Wano, to be completely honest. Like,
really? You don't think he's gonna have a fight and close it out?
He might get a fight, but I don't know what they're seasoning him for. Like, for me, Zoro, I can see him, like, all right, maybe taking on King because he's a swordsman, not winning, but like maybe a group fight against him. Like, I don't really see the Kaido clash necessarily. I see the sword being important, but I don't see Zoro as the one that uses it, if that makes sense. But I really don't see what they've been marinating Sanji for as far as fights go. So for him, it probably might be somebody shitty. Like, maybe they give him Queen, but
I don't even think they're trying to groove him as far as being a fighter anymore. I think they're either Oda is thinking we're supposed to be satisfied by the fact that he got a mini upgrade by being able to fly, or he's trying to groom him as more of the cook instead of the fighter of the group. Since we're now going to get Jinbei, and I guess Jinbei can kind of replace him as one of the top 3. And I'm not going to be satisfied with him developing as a cook unless he starts to do some Kamatsu from Toriko shit.
Facts.
Bro,
and then,
go ahead.
Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to add to that is, like, I felt like there was a point where Oda was grooming him to be like the strategist of the group.
Mm-hmm.
But then he just totally dropped the ball on that shit too, which kind of bothered me. Because I would be fine with him not getting the strength power per se if they gave him more of the strategy. Because, like, in Alabasta, he was the one that was like, oh, these niggas are just fighting, but, like, I need to find us a way to get the fuck off this island. So, like, I'm gonna do that. And they kind of, like, nodded to it in Whole Cake when they were doing the whole Gastino, like, that whole debate with Gang Beggy and stuff like that. But I don't think he's gonna bring it back. He's just kind of been teasing at it. I thought he doesn't know what he wants to do with that dude. But I know what he should do with that, I guess.
Facts. I am of the ilk that, first of all, if we can get in a Whole Cake, and I know you guys got more questions, but just a slight Whole Cake dive. I am of the ilk that, so my personal thoughts on Whole Cake, the first half was amazing. Second half was trash.
Ooh, first half. So what do you call the first half?
First half is everything up until the Chateau falls. When the Chateau falls is the end of the first half of Whole Cake to me.
When the Chateau falls. Is that like the CP0 dinner thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So after the wedding, but like the end of the wedding. The Chateau,
and you don't include like Don Flamingo's part as a part of Whole Cake, right?
Doflamingo? What you mean, like the like in between moments.
No, like the whole fighting on Don Flamingo's island and stuff.
You're thinking,
That doesn't
you're
count.
thinking about Dressrosa.
That's Dressrosa.
Yeah. No, I know that's Dressrosa, but some people might like consider that the whole thing a saga, I guess, and whole
I mean,
thing being the end of that.
thinking about it as a
It's
saga,
like-
I was just thinking about it as an arc.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be a part of it as a saga, but
Got it.
yeah, actually, I don't even think it would be. It wouldn't be.
I would think it would have started since Fishman, because the whole Big Mom like battle thing started like at the end of Fishman, because that's when they did the whole candy thing.
I agree, but the saga that started before Whole Cake was during Zoe, when they said we're going into the four Yonko saga. So like I feel like that's Zoe was the start of the Whole Cake saga. I mean the Yonko saga. I know what you're saying. The story ties to Whole Cake definitely started way back in Fishman. I agree, but I don't think that started the entire like Whole Cake saga. But regardless,
we're digressing.
Yeah, I was just talking about the arc itself, like the start of the arc from the moment.
Got it.
You know,
so
niggas
Fire
left
Cracker, all that good stuff.
Right. So the first half I have is amazing. The second half I have is trash. Aside from the Luffy versus Katakuri fight.
I actually didn't even enjoy that one that much, to be honest.
Yeah, I did, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But I was in terms of Sanji, I was of the ilk that thought that he would take out Katakuri.
Whoa!
Wow, what? Wow.
Oh
shit!
For sure. That was how I saw that playing out. Honestly.
That is big news.
No, for sure. That's my take. That's my take. I mean, like, I know a lot of people didn't really roll with that. Like, no, how the fuck is he gonna be the first commander? Blah 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 blah. Like, I get that. But I felt like Oda put Sanji in a position to be able to do that, in my opinion, because obviously after the time skip, it was established, everybody's speciality in terms of hockey and shit like that. And I think that in terms of storytelling, having Sanji fight the nigga with the best observation hockey would have been ideal. Simply because I don't like hockey as it is now, because everybody has hockey. And for the most part, somebody having Conqueror's hockey or not having Conqueror's hockey doesn't really matter, because if you are strong-willed enough to withstand Conqueror's hockey, then it doesn't really matter whether or not you got it or not. So in my mind, Oda should be kind of like making it so that certain people specialize in certain shit. They like, you can have all of them. Like, I'm okay with Zoro having all three hockeys, but his armament is crazy. I'm okay with Sanji having all three hockeys, but his observation is crazy. And I'm okay with Luffy being able to knock out commanders with conquerors, because his will is that strong. Like, I'm good with that. But instead, you have Luffy just be the the ideal hockey nigga. Like, I'm gonna have super observation, super conquerors and super armament. Like, yo, so he's that in my opinion is Oda making it so the rest of the Straw Hats mean absolutely nothing. And I don't think that that's okay. Like, I think that the progress, like the progression of the Straw Hats, well, Zoro and Sanji mainly, should be similar to Luffy's. It don't have to be the same. I always expect Luffy to be the strongest at the end of the day, but I don't want everybody else to fall to the wayside. Like, you see what I mean?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead, Gramps.
I was gonna say, it kind of seems like, based off of like what you're saying, it kind of seems like it's molding him into a typical Yonko, where all of, if you think of Yonko, they're leagues above their closest
leagues.
Seems like that's the route that they're kind of taking Luffy by making him have all of his abilities with other guys.
It's kind of like they know that they don't want to do that, because they're trying to like mirror the story of like Roger with Luffy. So they know that they don't want to just have him be the great. You know what I mean? They don't want him to just be so much stronger than his crew. Like the same with Shanks. I don't think that Shanks is so much stronger than Ben Beckman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think it's much closer. I think it's way closer than that.
Or it should be at least, but
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
not
think.
getting that vibe from Shanks. My crew might be the only exception, but from all these other crews, I'm not getting that
I don't
vibe.
think Roger's. I don't think Rayleigh was that far off from Roger.
Like I said, I just felt like from these other two,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
from Big
Big
Mom,
Mom
from
and
Kaido,
Kaido,
even Whitebeard.
yeah, the gap is too big. The gap is way too big. So I don't know. Shanks might be one of the fair niggas that's like, yo, I want y'all to come up like I come up. And Roger, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. And that's the thing. The power system in One Piece at one point makes sense, and then at another point you're kind of just like, Oda, can you help us out here? Because like the Big Mom and Kaido insane strength thing. At first I thought it was like a hockey thing, but like it just seems like that's just their makeup as niggas. Like
Yeah.
Big Mom was just raised as an incredibly strong person. So I'm like, oh, so does that mean there's nobody in the world that'll like can naturally match her strength or something like that? Like I was
Exactly.
confused at
What
what he was saying.
Whitebeard maybe? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like it's like
just odd like that.
it's just she's just the strongest shit in the world. And it's like, yo, what?
Right.
What? But yeah, I was really rolling that Sanji could have like, especially when after he dodged that jelly bean and fucking Katakuri was surprised. I'm like, oh shit. Like this will be. I'm like, this is perfect. That means
Yep.
when we get to Wano, Zoro's gonna off whoever the first commander of Kaido's crew is. Like that would have been so much more believable for
Yep.
me.
But I think my issue is also like after this first initial time skip, and this I kind of blame on Oda's writing is I felt like they were basically going to go into another time skip because I felt like
Agreed.
even then they weren't ready to take on the Yonko at this point.
I
But
agree.
then Oda was like, you know what, fuck it, we taking on the Yonko. So now all of a sudden, and then I felt like he wrote himself into a like you guys can't tell me I'm wrong because he basically said the only way to level up hockey is to like put yourself in dangerous situations. So he basically just wrote his shitty plot hole as like, oh, this is why this works because they have to fight the Yonko because if they don't fight Yonko, Luffy will never get stronger because the only way his hockey is going to get stronger is by fighting people that are like 10 times stronger than he is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which I was just like, So I don't know. These are my weird gripes with One Piece.
Right. No, for sure. Like, and I've also had those gripes. I definitely think that as far as a storytelling aspect, pre-time skip is better than post-time skip. But as far as like to me, in my opinion, as far as like an enjoyment, moment to moment aspect, I've liked post-time skip better.
Yeah.
But the story of pre-time skip and like the way characters are written, the way arcs flowed, it was just better to me.
Got it.
So yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just do one more of these questions, and this one I'm just curious about. So, since we're talking about One Piece, if you had a devil fruit, what would it be, and what would your abilities be? So, what type do you think you're most compatible with, and like what type of abilities do you think you would get with it?
as far as the devil fruit from the show, I
Uh-huh.
would love to have Kizaru's.
Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah, I mean
Just pick
it
the
is.
most unfair devil fruit.
Oh
I
yeah, for
got you.
sure, for sure. I would love to have that. I don't think I'd get that lucky. I think
Yeah.
I'd fuck around and run into not the jacket fruit, but I'm super trash. But I think I'd probably run into like Mr. One's fruit on some tweak shit.
Mr. One's fruit was what again? The sword fruit?
Yeah, well, his body was basically like a knife. Like he
Yeah.
can turn his every part of his body into like a sharp object.
Yep.
So here's a weird thing about that fruit though. You can never get laid again for the rest of your life.
No, that's not what I said. What I'm saying I won't. I feel like that's what I would get if I was in the world of One Piece.
Yeah.
If I had to create my own fruit, though, I think I would be more compatible with Paramecia.
Okay.
And I would want I would want a fruit similar to Kuma's, but not the way he does his, if that makes sense.
So you wouldn't want to slap people to different.
I wouldn't want to have to touch you to make you teleport. Like I wanted like a teleport fruit. Like
Damn,
where it's like
that was the exact fruit I was thinking of, man.
Yeah, like I want a teleportation fruit. Like teleportation is some of the dopest shit I think ever in life ever, and it's not real. So like, if I could do that, that would be the best shit in the fucking world. But it's not like obviously it's not a Logia or no shit like that. It's just like some shit I could do. But I don't want to have to be able to. I don't want to have to touch you to do it. But obviously I got to put limitations on myself. So it makes sense that I would have to touch you, but. That whole air compression shit, I'm not rolling. I wouldn't have anything battle ready.
Here's the thing that confuses me about that whole teleportation thing. What's his name? Raizo. He supposedly can do a bunch of quote unquote ninja shits, but that's the result of a fruit, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, so that's actually like ninja shit. Like everybody, all of the ninjas on Wano can do the same thing that he does, like making the clones and all of that.
Shinobu do it. Oh, she
can make clones.
She has a fruit.
Yeah, she has a fruit that makes stuff soft. I don't think we've ever seen anybody do the same thing that Raizo does so far. That's what I was thinking.
I don't know if he has a fruit though. But I also forgot that Kinemon had a devil fruit. So maybe I'm not the the one to talk about safe fruits.
Well, but based off of it, I was wondering if he had the ability to teleport based off of that ninja shit that we saw when he was like, he throws the smoke down and he appears at another location or whatever. Right. I didn't know if that was like a ninja ability or if that was actual devil fruit ability that they all thought was just simple ninja shit.
Do y'all think that the introduction of Raizo was a slight at Kishimoto or hey man, you're my friend. I know your series just ended, but hey.
That would be hilarious, but no, I got it. Yeah, that would be mad disrespectful if Oda was on there with niggas. Like,
that shit would be hilarious. I always thought about that. Like, why the fuck did he make a ninja? Like, this was right after Naruto had ended too. Yeah. Like, oh no, we gonna I'm gonna give you niggas a ninja. Ugly ass, big face ass. This is what your ninja should have looked like, Kishimoto.
I actually like the what's the name of the group? Obi-Wan group. There's that fat ninja there, bro. I think niggas is sleeping.
Yo, you gonna stop bringing that nigga up?
I think he gonna turn up on niggas, man. For real. He snuck up on them. I think in one chapter, it was like, how the fuck did this dude sneak up on us? Like, hey, bro, I'm just saying, he might get like a panel or two.
Didn't Zoro already kill him or off him?
No, the fat ninja. I don't think so.
Yeah, I felt like
Zoro dropped.
The fat ninja
Zoro
was
dropped all of them.
Yeah, he killed all the Obi-Wan group?
except for the old man.
Except for the bald dude with the long earlobes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when he was defending Yuri, he fought all of them niggas.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. Fuck. All right, well, I still believe in him. He might resurrect.
It was all off screen, but you know.
Oh, as usual, fucking Oda. Anything you want to see is off screen, my guy.
Bro, if he off screens this Whitebeard Go Roger fight, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry.
I don't feel like he's
been on a streak. He's been on a streak with off screen and shit, man.
For sure, but I
just think it never turns out to what I don't know. My problem is I feel like with One Piece, the more I learn about the past, sometimes it doesn't like match, I guess.
Why you say that?
I don't know how to put it into words, but I feel like if I see them fight, it's not going to be what I expected, if that makes sense.
What do you expect?
You're afraid to see Roger's power. You think it's going to be some whack shit.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be very basic, not as flashy, not as like wow.
What if he doesn't have a power?
I would love that actually. I'm
On some
kind of
Rush.
sick and tired of devil fruits, meaning that you're like automatically a gold ass character. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm
So,
hoping Shanks
on some
crew
dark
is.
shit.
Yeah, I'm hoping Shanks crew is like no devil fruits or like maybe one. But I'm hoping Shanks doesn't have one. I'm hoping Ben Beckman
I feel
doesn't have
like the
one.
nigga with the monkey on his shoulder has to have a devil
That's fine. I'm okay with like some other niggas having one. But if Shanks doesn't have one and like maybe a second in command doesn't have one, I put a lot of respect on their name off that.
fruit. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I feel like if the next chapter comes next week and like the fight is already over, the land is all fucked up, niggas is bloodied, and Odin's just like bloodied but excited, like, hey, I want to go with you guys. You guys are strong.
Yeah.
I might take a break. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like if that's the start of the chapter, I'm gonna be
I
quite
would have liked
upset.
to play them games though.
All right, so answer this question. How hurt did you feel when they skipped the fight between Odin and AfrOtaku?
I actually didn't care that much. I liked what they showed.
Oh really?
Yeah, I didn't really care that much because
Oh, I would have
the
loved to see.
Odin was already. Well, I mean, like, yeah, it would have been nice to see some more of his techniques aside from the tower climb that he did. But like, he was already set up to be somebody that I never thought was gonna struggle against AfrOtaku. So like, it would have kind of been like a wash. You know what I mean? In my mind, it would have been a wash. So I was like, I don't really want to see a wash. But so I didn't really catch him. I liked seeing that he was sitting on top of them, but like, even to this day, I feel like it was still a wash because he fought everybody. So like people are like, well, he was bloody. It's like, well, he just fought the entire town. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I was cool with that. I was the most upset with the Law Hawkins shit.
Oh my god, it wasn't everybody though. I think that shit was kind of annoying, but
Yeah,
I also hate Hawkins in general. So
oh no, I love that nigga.
really,
Yeah, for sure. I have a love for every single supernova except Apoo.
oh see, but I feel like that's why I love Apu the most because he's the one that I'm pretty sure unanimously the community hated, but he stays being a Ross nigga. Like when it came to
Always.
Kizaru,
Yeah,
oh yeah, when it came to Kizaru, he was the only nigga to semi get a hit off on him. Everybody else got dropped.
Bro, why is everybody holding on to this
I'm just saying,
non-existent
everybody else got dropped. Even in this arc right
He
now,
got dropped.
he's leading
He
the
did.
numbers. He's the nigga leading the numbers. He didn't get his ass whooped like the other two. Like
Watch when Kid catches ass.
no, I think people are gonna respect Scratchman the same way Oda turned around Beggy, because
But
niggas wasn't
I
fucking with
never
Beggy.
I never didn't
No,
like Beggy.
I mean maybe not you, but I definitely think the community was like, man, fuck that nigga Beggy. Like that was it. And then that,
Really?
oh,
I thought he was
100%.
gonna be trash. I thought he was gonna be
100%.
trash.
Wow. I was always into Beggy. Like
Seriously?
Beggy, Bonnie, for sure.
Before you got
Before Whole Cake. I was always
wow.
Apu is the only nigga I hated from the moment he was introduced. I swear to God. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, who is this long arm, lame ass? You know what I'm saying? Like, I hated him. I still hate him. But like Beck, I was interested. I'm like, they got a gangster? They got a bitch that like to eat? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was into all of them, honestly.
I feel like Scratchman gonna turn into that dude that everybody hate, but he's still cold. Like you just hate him, but you can't do nothing about how cold Oda keep writing him. Like he just gonna keep putting in work. You just gonna be mad, but you
when he have a judge moment in front of Kid Killer and Hawkins, what you gonna do?
When he have a what?
A judge moment.
What you mean? What's that?
Like, you know how Judge was tough as hell until he got trapped in that seat and was about to die.
Had his ass crying like a baby.
So when Kid and all of them standing over Apu,
I guarantee you they won't do that to Apu. I bet you.
All right.
We'll see. The writing's gonna happen, but I'm telling you, the goofiest niggas get the most respect with Oda, fam.
That's a fact. Look at Usopp.
Scratchman is the goofiest of the group. He's the goofiest looking.
That's a fact.
Don't sleep. That's all I'm saying. Don't sleep. I don't like him either. But the way I see Oda writing him, I realize that it's more in my favor to not hate this nigga because Oda gonna keep putting him in my face. So. When they showed him pull up with them numbers, I was like, oh, Oda's trying to put a lot of respect on this nigga, bro. Because Hawkins and Page One, none of them got that much respect in this arc.
Nope.
Kaido
But they
already
also got
putting you in
sunned.
position to do other missions and shit.
He also got sunned.
Ooh.
Kaido put him in a position to go get them niggas.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, I'm not
Hawkins
saying
is,
he got. I'm not saying he
what
got
was
sunned.
Hawkins doing? Hawkins was riding around in the outskirts doing nothing, collecting tax. That's all he was doing.
Getting tarot cards.
He was collecting tax, being scared.
That man at that
No,
point,
I meant to say they got sunned. I said he got sunned. They got sunned.
He got baby shakes, like King of Lightning says.
For sure.
Baby. All right, let's move on into the story time. So we do this for every interview, and we also do this on a podcast. But basically, we ask our guests to share like an interesting or funny or sad or whatever story from their life with us and the audience.
Cool. So, I never plugged all of my socials. My Twitter is Sensei Le Glove, Instagram Sensei Le Glove. Follow me for hot and cold takes every now and then. I also drop some of my content there, so fuck with me. But this story comes from Twitter. Do we have Gramps? Are you a Boruto friend? MGG, you a Boruto friend?
Yeah, I mean, I pay attention to Boruto.
The manga and the anime.
Yeah.
Both.
The
So
anime, not so much,
okay.
but definitely the manga.
Gramps?
I couldn't disrespect myself by hopping into Boruto, man.
Okay. All right. Bet. So we got two opposing sides here. So check it out. I was on Twitter, and there was a tweet that was like it was like a list. It was like a manga. It's like mangas of the year, or like, and it was like basically described like it described different aspects. Which manga had the fight of the year? Which manga had the was the best drawn? You know, which one had the worst story? Like, what's the best manga you read this year? The worst manga you read this year? You know what I'm saying? Like all of that shit, right? So like I did the tweet, and I listed all the ones that I've read, and like, you know, what I feel like, where I feel like they fell. And the one for worst manga, I put Boruto. Okay. So a guy had like he got really upset with that tweet, and he responded. He responded and said,
"Moto fanboys,
bro." He responded and said, "I bet my fucking life you don't read the manga." Because if you that shit is nothing like the anime, son. So you can keep that bullshit ass take over there.
Yeah. Oh, why are niggas so hot about Boruto?
So wait. So I responded like, sigh. You know what I'm saying? I tried to be like calm. I'm like, look, bro, I do in fact read the manga. As you can see, this list is of manga. So one, that was a bad bet. Don't bet your life on something. You know what I mean? Like, don't bet your life on something so meaningless. And also, I'm not disrespecting it. I'm just saying, of all the manga that I've read this year, that was the worst. So if I only read 5 manga this year, and it was One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, you know what I'm saying? Like all the top tier, Attack on Titan, like all of those top tiers, and Boruto, I'm gonna say Boruto is the worst manga I said. But like, it's just the word worst, I guess he got offended by. So then he responds to that tweet and says, "Oh, so you just have shit fucking taste. Fuck you," what? And blocks me.
Damn.
That's a Russian bot, my guy.
It was definitely an anime avid ass nigga, yo. So I just was like, wow, did I just get blocked? Now, imagine, I hadn't been like, I just started Twitter this year when I got my YouTube channel. I was on Twitter back in like 2012, 2013, and then I got off like 2014 and just wasn't on Twitter until this year. So that was the first time since I had like, you know, got back on Twitter that I'd ever been blocked. I was like, holy fuck. She was insane.
But yeah, that man was a little bit too passionate.
Way too fucking passionate. Over Boruto?
Just to clarify for the audience, Boruto isn't good, man.
Bro, thank you. Thank you.
Maybe they didn't catch that, like, from the whole thing in our opinions, but yeah, it's not good. Like, bro, I wouldn't even describe it as good. I'm reading Samurai 8 too. Like, Kishimoto, like, no. He's just getting a check at this point.
Honestly, I'm not reading Samurai 8. I told myself I'd read it when it was like 50 chapters in or something.
Yeah.
But nah, Boruto. I mean, and I don't think is Kishimoto. I don't think he's writing Boruto.
Oh, he's not?
No, I don't think he's.
Does he approve the
Yeah,
stuff
he
that
does
they put
approve
out?
the stuff that they putting out though.
Oh, either way, man. This Boruto's, I wouldn't call it trash just yet, because I mean they still have the potential to turn it around.
Yeah,
But
I'm not calling it
it's not
trash,
good.
but it's not the best thing I've seen all year. Like, you know what I mean?
I
That's
wouldn't
what I'm
recommend
saying.
people to read it
At all.
It's
At
not there.
all. It's almost it's something that I forget that I'm reading.
Yeah.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is if that same guy ends up listening to this, he's definitely gonna report our asses.
Oh yeah,
Fuck,
you gonna
dude.
block us again?
Fuck, dude.
You heard it here first.
Please.
Fuck, dude.
Fuck, dude.
All right.
No.
That was an interesting story.
Yeah, I'm over here wondering, like, what's some shit that people actually get so passionate about that they would go that far? I know, like, some niggas be going crazy about Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
You know, we've had multiple conversations
them too.
about that shit, about how supposedly Dragon Ball Z is like the best show ever or whatever.
Man, anybody that got Dragon Ball Z in their top 5 can't have an anime conversation with me. Period.
I mean, they like hands. Like, here's what I go is like, there's niggas that just like.
It's not even hands thrown. You like seeing fucking balls of circular balls of black shit bounce around the screen.
Hey,
that is true.
Like hands,
there is hardly any choreography, bro. I can think of 2 or 3 fights in Dragon Ball Z that actually had choreography.
Well, we got to talk about. So you're talking about for the time.
What you mean?
For the time, because like now fights are way better, right?
Yes, now I'm talking about DBZ.
DBZ then the fight it didn't have hands in
comparison
to
at
all the other shows.
At fucking all, bro.
I just wanted to clarify.
Think of the Cell Saga, G. Like the niggas are fly in the air and it just be boom, 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 like literal shockwaves. And then we looking at other niggas look at shockwaves.
I don't know. Vegeta was throwing some hands out there, fam.
Bro.
They had them little rapid fire punches in midair.
No.
And the Boo Saga, I'm pretty sure.
The Boo Saga was when they started really getting in their choreography. That was when they really started doing that. The rest was very, very slight. Like very slight.
Hey, niggas fuck with the hands. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So as a guy,
it's not in my top 5, but niggas fuck with the hands. That's all.
So question. As a guy who never watched Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day, did that show have better choreography?
No. Than Dragon Ball? Well, wait. Did it have better choreography? It was like around the same, except the difference between Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball Z was the scale. So like the scale of Yu Yu Hakusho wasn't the same as DBZ. So they wasn't having niggas flying and doing all these fast ass movements, but it was definitely still the your fist is represented by a whole bunch of lines moving. It was still that, like it was old school. Like it was old school shit. So like, you know what I'm saying? While they do have some moments that are well choreographed. Sorry, this is a train that's always coming and fucking on my podcast and shit. While they do while they do have some well choreographed moments or some choreographed moments, the majority of their fights are not choreographed. It's old school. Like if you thinking like just think of like so a lot of people nag on One Piece for this in terms of the fights, where it's like a punch is thrown, but you don't really see it land. Like you see somebody throwing a punch, but like next thing you know, all you do is see the person face move. You don't see like the fist punch the face. It's a lot of that.
Okay. I get you. I mean, so basically the choreography is the same as, you know, all of the typical shows back in that age.
Yes.
But the only difference is the scaling of all of the abilities that all of the characters had.
Yeah.
And that's what niggas were hyped about.
Yeah, you're not seeing, like, with Dragon Ball Z, it was a lot of blasts and shit going, people was flying around, mountains being exploded. Like, there's not a lot of that going on in Yu Yu Hakusho. At least not for the majority of the series. Towards the end, they added like a little power scaling, like a little power system that was trash, and it kind of skyrocketed to some other shit, but they still wasn't flying around and shit.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so maybe that's what niggas were really hyped about then. It's the greatest show ever, quote unquote.
Bro,
because
and then
of how
people hold on to nostalgia too much. Like at some point, and I can, you know what I'm saying, I understand that. Like people like, man, I gotta put DBZ in my top 5 because without DBZ wasn't gonna be no other shit. Like, okay, bro. But you realize that things are going to get better from DBZ.
Yeah. I mean, that's like saying Smokey Robinson is in my top 5 favorite artists. Like,
exactly, bro. It's like, bro, there's going to be an artist
Speed
better
Racer.
than Smokey Robinson coming, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, Speed Racer's in my top 5, y'all. Astro Boy's in my top 5, bro. Without them, none of those other ones would exist.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't really mean anything. Like, I get you if you want to put it there. If you haven't seen anything, if you have only seen 5 anime and DBZ was one of them,
of course it's gonna be in your top 5.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like, if you've seen a plethora of anime to date and old, there's no reason why DBZ should be in your shit because that shit is bad. Like, it's not good.
Hey man, if I only saw 5 anime ever and Fairy Tail was one of them, Fairy Tail still wouldn't be in my top 5.
Funny as hell.
That's all I gotta say.
Don't do it to Fairy Tail.
Funny as hell.
Don't do it to him. He tried. He worked hard for that manga. All right. Let's move on to the discussion topic for this episode. So, I always want to ask this because I have a few in mind, but I'm curious what the other One Piece fans think. Are there any One Piece characters to you that are overhyped? Meaning you feel like the fan base puts way too much respect on their name. Maybe their feats don't match what the fan base puts on them, stuff like that.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like,
you want to give out names?
Oda does a good job of hyping motherfuckers that we haven't seen shit from. So, like, by that definition, yes, there's a fuck ton of characters that are overhyped.
Right.
Because we haven't seen anybody do anything.
I say specifically about the fan base. Like, Roger, I think it's healthy to assume, okay, this nigga he has enough feats, even though we haven't physically seen the feats, to say, like, all right, yes, this is why he's number one. Right?
What feats do you say he has?
When I say feats, I mean, like, just writing. Like, basically, the story is saying, like, and top characters are saying, like, okay, this is the strongest nigga. So by then, like, for some of those things, we have to just go, all right.
Why do people say Roger's the strongest?
What do you mean, why? Yeah, it's a pirate.
Him being the Pirate King does not mean he's the strongest.
Does that mean he's the strongest physically, you mean?
Yeah. It doesn't mean he has the most power. It doesn't mean he can beat any pirate. It just means he's the freest in the world.
I mean, I guess I can see your point on that one, but at the same time, like, I mean, I think there's certain, like, I don't know how to put it into words. Like, I don't think me saying or me putting respect on Roger's name as a pirate king is me just saying he's the strongest pirate in the world, even though that might be what the audience is saying. Right. But it is saying that, like, when we see him, like, right, or if we were to watch his storyline, let's say it was a Roger prequel, we would, like, be able to understand how he was able to achieve such things. And even just looking off of, like, maybe the other people in his era, like, just recently, the whole Rocks thing. They basically just said he beat 3 of our strongest Yonkos now in, like, a fight with help from Garp, right? So that puts respect on Garp's name. But even then, I don't feel that Garp is that strong. So if anything, it puts more respect on Roger's name than Garp's.
You don't think Garp is that strong?
People. I mean, I think he's strong, but I guess, like,
by that same decree, Garp was always challenging that person that fought all 3 of them.
Yeah, so my issue with Garp comes from something a little bit different. So, I mean, maybe in the story it'll be explained, but I just see Garp and Luffy as a mirror to Smoke. I'm sorry, Garp and Rogers as mirror to Smoker and Luffy, and I don't think Smoker's that strong, and that's why I don't put as much respect on Garp's name.
Right, I agree with your mirror, but I think the problem with a lot of us in the One Piece community, in my opinion, is that we put too much into that. Sometimes, not always.
Into what? The mirroring thing?
Yeah, the mirroring thing. Because this is Luffy's story, and because, you know, this is the story that we're currently reading, it has to be different than what happened.
Roger went through.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like when the story, like if we think about it from a inside the world of One Piece, and the story is told point of view, Luffy probably has some of the wildest feats in the world. He defeated a Shishibukai at 17. Declared war on the world government.
Mm-hmm.
He defeated 2 Shishibukai. So he defeated 2 Shishibukai, declared war on the world government, broke into Impel Down, broke out of Impel Down, and then freed the most wanted, or not the most wanted criminal, but freed a man who was about to be executed from Marine Ford, which is like the most heavily guarded Marine base, in the middle of a war with a Yonko, and made it out alive. Like, he stood in front of, he faced off against 3 admirals at the same time. Like, that's some shit that they have put in a paper in One Piece, and that'll be like, yo, there's no other nigga that did that.
Right, but we saw that. We saw what those specific events look like, right?
Exactly.
So we understand, the limits of it. But I also, for the Roger thing, we can also look at, his crew. We've now seen Silver's fight, and, the statements that are being made about an older guy. Because I also put, I put weight on the older characters are maybe not significantly, but a good amount weaker than their prime.
I
agree. We
Except
saw
for
how
the
Silver.
Yonko.
Yeah, except for Young, but I don't consider those quote unquote, besides Whitebeard, people past their prime. Whitebeard had to be specifically stated as, oh, this nigga is sick. But if he wasn't sick, I would still kind of expect him to be pretty close to his prime.
Do you think Whitebeard is stronger than Roger?
Do I think he was listed as the strongest man in the world?
Right?
While Roger was alive.
While Roger was alive.
Right.
So people put credence on that, and people also put credence on Roger being Pirate King. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of people in the One Piece community that think, all right, well, Roger has to be the strongest thing in the world because he was fighting Whitebeard, and Whitebeard's the strongest man in the world. And they don't realize that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, I think there's other ways to beat a pirate crew, which also means
I agree.
So to me, strongest man in the world means yeah, that nigga's strong, but doesn't mean that if I took the 4 second strongest niggas against that one strongest nigga, could they beat him? I think yeah, they could. So I think on a one-on-one fight, sure, he's the strongest nigga, but I don't know what that means for group fights. I don't know if that doesn't mean he's the smartest nigga, so he could easily be outsmarted in any battle. There's ways to, you know what I mean? There's ways around the fact where you can still get feats off the strongest nigga in the world without beating him in a one-on-one fight. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, but I guess to go back to your topic, I mean,
yeah,
it's such a ambiguous thing. Being overhyped in One Piece is like being water, because so many people we don't have enough information about to truly scale, but we hype them because Oda hypes them. The characters around them hype them. The newspaper hypes them. Bounties hype them. You know.
So which ones would you say are being hyped by the audience? Because to me, there's only one that I have in mind that I think it gets way more credit than they deserve, which is Ace to me. I feel like niggas really overhype Ace. But
I was gonna say somebody else.
I never really hear Ace hype.
Oh, I hear.
I never really hear Ace hype. I don't. It's only one person in the new world that I think Ace is beating, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
I think the Ace hype comes from the fact that he died, and I hear a lot of, the same way we were talking about how people just ride that one thing. I don't know if people are really fans of One Piece, but people love to throw Ace's name around. But I'm just what did you guys read?
There's no way. There's no way. I think that he's anywhere near top tier in terms of power. Nothing like that. If I have to say anybody is hyped by the overhyped by the community, it would either have to be Kaido.
Ooh, tough. Why do you say that?
Because of not a situation, but a debate I got into before, also on Twitter, with some people over whether or not Kaido can be 2 admirals.
Whether or not Kaido could be 2 admirals?
Yes.
Oh, And they said Kaido would beat them. Are we
Yes. Or
talking
they
of
said
current admirals or like past admirals?
we're talking Akainu and any other admiral. The tweet that I proposed had Akainu and Kizaru.
So we're not talking Fujitora, Green Bull, any of those, right?
No, Akainu is one that has to be there. Any other admiral can be added on top of that.
Yep.
But the fact is, he's fighting two admirals at the same time. Yeah. One of them being Akainu.
My issue is the Whitebeard fight against Akainu. It, like, from what I remember, correct me if I'm wrong. If like it was just Akainu and Whitebeard, Akainu would have got dropped. Am I wrong in that statement?
Are we talking about Prime? Or are we talking about?
I'm talking about in that war. If Whitebeard, like even in his sick form, pulled up on Akainu, like without the whole plans or scheme, just be talking 1-on-1, hands. Who would have won that?
Sick Whitebeard. I got Akainu winning
it. Okay. So I felt like I watched something different because I felt like when Akainu first pulled up on Whitebeard, that nigga got curb stomped, and then he weakened him, and then they won. Then they were able to beat him. But I felt like
that's my point. Akainu put two holes in his chest,
and blew half his face off
while also fighting him. So like, aside from whatever Squardo stabbing him, which in my opinion didn't really do shit.
I mean, it hurt his feels, man. You got to put in the value of hurting the feels.
Okay. So if I'm thinking about this in terms of they just pull up to an island and fight, the reality of it is Whitebeard should be winning against anybody. Like, he has the ability to flip an island over, like upside down, if you wanted to. So he should win automatically, but obviously the story don't work like, you know what I mean? It's a narrative, it's a plot. You can't just do shit like that.
Yeah.
So here's the thing though. So if Whitebeard did the same thing he did with those waves, where he was basically about to have the whole area get swallowed by the fucking sea, what would Akainu do to prevent that from swallowing them? How can he actually go against that?
I got him covering himself in a whole lot of lava.
So you saying he's just gonna be a ball floating in the ocean?
I mean, if they're on the same island, Whitebeard would also be floating in the ocean.
So I guess like my other follow-up question would be: so do you think an admiral is supposed to be comparable to a Yonko, or like comparable to a first commander?
Not all of them.
I'm talking about the three we got: Akainu, Kizaru, and
I think
should all be about the same strength, correct?
Yes. I think that they are all their own level. They are not Yonko level, although I don't think all the Yonkos are the same strength. They aren't that strong, but they aren't as weak as a first commander. They are stronger than
they're somewhere in between first commander and Yonko. Because to me, I would think the thing comparable would be a fleet admiral. So now that Akainu is fleet admiral level, I would see him as like, all right, him versus Yonko 1v1. He should be able to hold his own. I still think Marines themselves are weaker because my theory is that the girls say is actually the real power. So I feel like those
the thing with that is, and a lot of people say that, but the thing with that is, because what's crazy is a lot of people in the One Piece community say they think Gorosei are like Yonko level. If they got fucking, how many of them is it? 5?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If they got 5 Yonkos just sitting on fucking Mori Jawa, why didn't they send one of them niggas down there during Marineford?
Well, why did they need to? Did they need to?
To end the fight.
But there was no need for that. There was no need for them to end that thing.
The entire Marineford was destroyed. What are you talking about?
I feel you, but like I think in that ability, I don't see why they felt like, oh, I need to come down to end this war. The Marines should be able to handle it. That's how I
think nobody knows who they are. I don't think anybody knows who they are. I would
think the fleet admiral should know who them niggas are.
Yeah, I definitely think the fleet admiral knows who they are.
And then some niggas.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Only specific niggas know who they are. So if they came out and joined in this fight, people are like, hold on, who the fuck are they? And
But
now folks know about this Goro saying they're gonna start researching more shit about them.
But I don't think they all like Yonko level. Like
I don't think it was worth it for them. I could get you saying they're not all Yonko level. What I'm saying is I think them as a power is like what I would equate to like a Yonko. So
that's
maybe
fine.
it doesn't
I can
take
roll with
one of
that.
them.
I can roll with all 5 of them being a Yonko. Like
I wouldn't say 5, but I would say they could probably juke these niggas. I would say the battles would probably go 2 Goros, say 1 Yonko. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go all 5.
I'm not doing that. You think
it takes 5 of them? If it takes 5 of them to be 1 Yonko, then that's saying that 2 admirals are stronger than all of the Goros.
Yeah,
bro. But But I'm saying if somebody was to say that, I would roll. But I'm not saying I would. In no way do I think 2 of the Goros say are as strong as a Yonko. I don't think all of the first commanders like. That's like saying all of the first commanders can be it takes all of the first commanders to be the Yonko. For the most part, yeah.
It takes
I don't
all
think
the first.
I don't think Katakuri is anywhere close to beating Big Mom. I don't think King is anywhere close to beating Kaido. So if I'm putting Kaido against King and Katakuri, maybe, and I still damn near think Kaido might win.
So to bring it back,
I don't think I guess to end that shit.
The original argument.
The original argument was basically, I think Kaido's overhyped, and I think Kaido's overhyped because I don't have him beating a Akainu and another Yonko. A lot of people think.
You mean another admiral? Sorry.
Admiral. I'm sorry. A lot of people think, well, Kaido is the strongest creature and he can't die. So how do they beat him? It's like, well, he's been beaten 7 times.
So here's how I would approach it is if you're talking old admirals, I think it's unfair because my assumption now is that they're stronger than they were in Marineford because I just felt like if one goes up, the rest of them have to go up. So since Akainu got a promotion, I assume that Aokiji is stronger. Even though Kizaru is still technically an admiral, I still feel like he's stronger than his counterparts. But now if we take the admirals that are today in the story, so like Fujitora and Green Bull, and put them against Kaido, I see Kaido edging that fight out. And I see that because Dressrosa, it seemed like Don Flamingo was sort of scared of Fujitora, but it did seem like they could still have a decent battle, and Fujitora would edge out the dub on that. And if Don Flamingo and Fujitora are pretty close, and he was scared shitless of Kaido, I don't see Fujitora winning against Kaido on his own. Now with Green Bull, we still haven't seen all of his powers, but I would still say I'm not saying Kaido's curb stomping them niggas, but I would say Kaido edges out the win against the 2 of them. The new admirals. Now, if we talk old admirals, Aokiji, Kizaru, Akainu, I totally buy your argument. And those, I would assume those would win because I consider them of an older elk. So I think that they're a little bit stronger than the average niggas.
Would you put Akainu, Aokiji, Kizaru from Marineford against the Kaido we know now? Do you still think that they would win?
From Marineford, they could probably edge out a dub. I still find it harder to believe just because I have to go back and watch Marineford, I guess, but I just feel like that fight with Whitebeard and Akainu, I felt like if it was 1v1, even with sick Whitebeard would have dropped that nigga. That's how I felt about it. So I go, he was sick at that point. How would they have fared against strong niggas? It looked like that Marineford for them two, or for Akainu, was like his version of a power-up arc, if that makes sense. After that, that nigga got stronger. But before that, he definitely could have got dropped. If things just leaned a little bit to the left, somebody could have took that nigga head off. That's how I felt about it. But it sounds like you guys had a little bit different opinion than me on that one.
Sure.
All right, so you say Kaido's overhyped.
Yeah. If I had to say anybody else, it would probably be Dofi, but I don't really have much to go off of there. I just don't have go. A lot of people have Dofi as first or second commander level.
Really?
And
I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
People really think that there are people that really think that Dofi would have beat Katakuri. I can't see
Yeah,
that
a lot of
What?
people
at
got
all.
Dofi beating
How?
Katakuri.
I
Uh,
cannot see that.
yeah, no. First of all, he they lost to Luffy at that point. So what? But
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
I mean, yeah, no, I don't see that. People's. I would just go like as scared as he was of Kaido. You can't be first commander level if you're that scared of Kaido. I'm sorry.
But
Like,
I
cause
mean, I
he
feel like that whole thing was was to hype Kaido. Like that's
it
the
was.
thing. Like that's the whole thing that I was talking about. Like like Oda hypes these motherfuckers more than we do. Like
Yeah,
he has these characters hype these characters. Like
but I think the bigger problem with that is just that Oda does this horrible. He has like a horrible way of power scaling niggas because, or like giving you a rough idea because the Shichibukai group, their power levels are all over the place. Like Mihawk, strongest swordsman in the world, right? Like I'm expecting his power level to be up there. But I don't know if it's Yonko level. Jinbei, same thing, should be up there. Crocodile, when he fought Luffy, it seemed like he was lower, but as the story progressed, this nigga is like saying, "Oh, Whitebeard, I got beef with you." So I go, "Oh, so clearly this nigga's a little bit stronger than I think." You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
this shit's all over kind of the place when it comes to that. And that's the part I hated. Like I had a theory back in the day where I was kind of trying to compare the power system to how Big Mom set up her crew. I kind of forgot the theory now, but you know how they had that whole chess piece thing there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know
I
what you're
felt
saying.
like that was kind of similar to how maybe Oda was going with the actual power level, where there's like these niggas that are like Rook level, and there's certain niggas that because of their abilities it makes them seem like they're stronger than they are, but they aren't. But I don't remember the theory now, so I can't give you the best explanation of it. So sorry about that,
No, it's all good.
but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, for me, I think Ace is definitely overhyped by the community. We did not get to see a lot from Ace.
Nope.
And then I think a lot of what Whitebeard did made it even nastier for people, like where niggas was hyping him up more because he was like, oh, you know, second in command. But it's like we never got to see any of the hockey feats from Ace. It seemed like
Right.
Whitebeard just did it just to do it because he was like, oh, I fuck with Rogers, so I'm gonna make you the second in command. But like Ace didn't really have the feats to back that up.
Question for you
Yeah.
guys: Sabo versus Luffy, who wins?
Sabo right
Oh,
now.
Sabo.
Okay, cool. Just had to make sure you
You
guys,
trying to gauge the
were
scale?
same. Oh yeah, I was trying to make sure you guys were
I
same.
mean, Luffy off of main character storyline bullshit, but definitely not without that. Yeah, no plot armor, 100%
Okay.
Sabo.
All right, cool.
Sabo might let him win on some Big Brother shit.
You think
No,
so? No,
hell no.
Sabo
They wa-
drop.
he wasn't letting them win back when they was kids. I doubt he let them
You
win
right.
now.
You right.
I'm actually
But
like, are you surprised at the Sabo glow up though? Because I was a little bit confused with the chief of staff joint, that title. Do
No,
you do you guys ever theorize like where you felt like he landed in the Revolutionary Army? Do you think he's his second in command, or do you think there's people above him?
I think he's the second. Like he's the next one after Dragon. And
Okay,
I
so you
think
do believe
before him,
Sabo's second in command.
yeah, I think before him it was Kuma.
I agree with that, but I just think it's wild that Sabo ended up second in command. I just will feel like there should be just maybe one other person in there.
it's
Uh,
just like the Ace situation. I feel the same way about Ace and Sabo in both of their situations.
I
I
guess
feel like
too
they
soon.
shouldn't have been what they were.
Yeah.
Y'all, y'all don't think Sabo is stronger than everybody else in the
I mean, then we've seen.
Revolutionaries?
Yeah. Besides Kuma, like Kuma would be the only one. Like if Kuma didn't have the limiters, I would like to see how strong he really was. I think that's the only unknown I have. But I was hoping that there would be like maybe one other person we haven't met yet that was up there. That was all. Like of what we've seen, sure, I totally agree. Sabo's. I don't think Sabo's weaker
Do
than
you
the
think
bottom.
so? You think Sabo's stronger than all of the ones that we met that we got
Those
introduced to?
commanders, they're
Yeah,
too goofy. Yeah, they're way too
because they
goofy
goofy.
to
That's
have
what they
any
win.
real feats. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, come on, you guys thought that? Like, I feel like yeah, with when he makes them that goofy, it's hard for me to go by that second in command bullshit. Like, besides what he did to Katakuri, that's like my only.
What about What about fucking Burgess?
Jesus.
Burgess.
I don't feel like
Yeah.
Jesus should be second in command. I feel like but
Yeah,
that's my whole
that
issue
nigga
with the
seems way
Blackbeard
too
crew.
weak.
Anyways, Blackbeard is another one that like exemplifies the nastiness of Oda's power scaling because like those niggas like are all over the place. Like that's another one I will actually put on the overhyped list too because given what we've seen of
Burgess?
all of his fights, no Blackbeard.
Oh
Because
no, Blackbeard worth the hype, B.
what?
Mm?
See, I
What?
think people forget
He's
Impel
damn
Down.
near one of the
I think
strongest Yonko right there.
I think people forget Impel Down. Like we put a lot of respect on the fact, okay, cool, he got 2 devil fruits. Sure, that's fine. But what have we seen? Because I
That
seen
nigga would
Impel
have been
Down,
dead.
and I seen that nigga
He
walk
cleared.
up and
He
say,
cleared
I'm finna
Impel
run this.
down.
No, I seen him walk up on Magellan and say, yo, I'm finna run your fade. And Magellan said, hey, bro, go die somewhere.
Yep.
And if this nigga
But
didn't
he
get
kept it
played,
moving.
But he
He
beat
one-shotted
Magellan.
that nigga.
But he beat Magellan.
when?
It was stated in Marineford that Magellan was in critical condition.
Oh, well, then
Nigga.
I missed that little bit, but I feel like that
All right.
nigga Blackbeard.
Hold on. So you're saying that he was in critical condition after fighting Blackbeard, or
Yes,
did that nigga
Blackbeard
Blackbeard break everybody
Blackbeard
out
and
and
his
they
crew.
jumped his ass?
That is true, yeah. No,
Either way, Blackbeard and
Really
his
do?
crew.
Nah, see, but that's the thing. Blackbeard got strong niggas in his crew. He just free.
But I don't
like,
think no one in his crew is stronger than him. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
I totally give you that because the nigga got 2 devil fruits. But what I'm saying
No,
is
before that.
Yeah, this was
before that, you think Shiryu would have Shiryu
I
Blackbeard?
don't think Shiryu is stronger than Blackbeard before he got the second devil fruit.
I think they were pretty close. I think
Close, yeah.
that's
I
what
got
I'm saying.
Blackbeard
So to
winning.
me, close. Look, if you're a Yonko, what we've seen is the power gaps. I don't see that power gap until the nigga got 2 devil fruits between him and any of the new niggas he got. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. I was
So
when I talk about him being worth the hype, I'm talking about him now.
Right, with 2 devil fruits.
Yeah, he's worth the hype now.
I guess, but I still can't go for it because I just don't feel like it's
It's valid. You just don't think it's valid.
Yeah, I don't feel like. Yeah, I feel like he tripped and fell into a fountain of youth, and
he didn't. That was his plan, B. It was his plan.
All right. See, like this, is the other part that I think was speaking of the current chapter that I think we're finally going to get revealed because this was something I was always worried about with Blackbeard.
Right.
So remember when Shanks said, "Oh, watch out for that nigga Blackbeard. He dangerous."
You think you finna scratch his ass up?
I think the scars are gonna happen now, which makes it way disappointing because I thought maybe it happened when they were more established. Now when Shanks is a kid, like sure, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Like, sure, he was dangerous back then, but Shanks was nowhere near as powerful for that statement to mean as much as it did when he said it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it would have had way more strength behind it if this happened later in life, maybe as in his early crew days. But if this happened now, as he's a kid, which I feel like is gonna happen since they already started putting the seasonings on it, they showed this nigga. I was like, yo, so Shank's about to get the scars. I'm about to be disappointed because once again, Blackbeard gets another feat that doesn't really make sense. But all right.
Yeah, man.
Anyways, yeah, we sat on this topic for a while. Let's move on to the game time. I'm gonna skip the first game, and we could just do the last one, which is create your own pirate crew. So here, I'm totally giving you free reign to. You can use existing characters. You can make up some characters if you want. But yeah, just establish your crew. Give it like a theme. I don't know what you guys are gonna stand for. If there's like a combat theme where you want all Zoans or some shit like that, let us know that.
Go ahead. Oh, are you still explaining?
No, you good. That was it.
Yeah, I would have my first mate would be Shanks.
Damn, you already putting Yonkos in the crew. Wow.
Oh yeah, he ain't a Yonko.
Shanks?
I'm saying like he wouldn't be a Yonko if he's on my crew. Right?
How
are we doing this? Wait, no, hold on. How are we doing this?
Let me.
Do we have limiters?
I'm just gonna take Yonkos off the
table.
No
Yonkos.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody that's been on the Yonko crew, we taking them off the table too?
Anyone that's been on one of them old school Yonko crews. So like no one on Goldie Rogers crew.
No one from Roger's crew.
That's it.
But I can have people
Big
from
Mom, Whitebeard, Kaido. Yeah.
They ass old too.
They do got some niggas, but it's more fair than you. Oh, well, I'm on Silver Shanks.
Yeah, right. Let me get all the strongest
All right,
niggas on the show.
no. Let me not bullshit. Okay, I'll have Marco as the doctor. My
Man,
first.
you really ready to throw hands?
Yeah, my first mate. Shit. My first mate will probably be. Yeah. I want to say Zoro, but like, I feel like. Okay, Shishibukai off the table too.
No, you can put them on there minus Mihawk.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Mihawk can't go, my guy. He wouldn't join the crew anyways. Right? To be honest,
that's cool. Let me see. So, all right, fuck it. First mate Zoro, doctors Marco. My navigator would be
Jesus. No.
Oh hell no. My navigator would be Katakuri.
Is he an actual navigator of Big Monster?
I have no idea, but his observation is insane.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, he can see the future. I guess so. Thanks. Hey, bro, the island over there.
I would have Brooke as my musician. Let me see. I would have.
You sure you don't want Scratchmen Apoo?
Fuck no. I would have. What's Shorty name? Koala. She would be my pseudo fishman.
Okay.
I love Koala, dude.
So I was about to say, so you just gonna still be racist with the fishman? We can't get a real fishman on the crew?
No,
with but you fishman abilities.
I do not like fucking Jinbei, G. Like, I just don't like that nigga.
What?
I don't.
How would you like the guy with the fat sun tattooed on his stomach, man?
Bro, fuck no.
Jinbei got prison tats, bro. Jinbei was in these streets. He's a reformed gangster.
I'm not rolling. I do not like that nigga, yo. I don't like him. My archaeologist.
Dang, you need one of those?
Do we? Shit, I don't know. How many people do I have to have?
What's the Luffy crew size?
10.
You got about 10 now. You got a cook?
Yeah, we'll hit 10.
Yeah, my cook. Sanji, nah. Don't want Sanji.
I mean, that nigga, that's the only nigga we see who could really throw down.
Who could really throw down? Have you seen my crew?
I'm talking about in the
you're talking about food wise.
Yeah, food-wise. Who else cooks in One Piece universe?
Right, that's a fact.
I mean,
so,
shit.
Usopp versatile though.
Low key, fucking what's buddy name? Usopp first baby daddy? Strewson? Woo! That nigga can whip some shit up. No, but I'll take Sanji as a cook. Fuck it. So I got Zoro, Sanji, Brooke, Marco, Katakuri, me, Koala. My marksman would be Ben Beck. Can I do Ben Beckman?
As a marksman?
Yeah.
That's wild. No, fam. No,
get the fuck.
I forgot to take that out too. Yeah, no shade.
Oh my god.
Nigga throwing
Because
hella
those
rules.
things are too like clout goddy. No, we can't do the clout gods.
All right. Okay. So my marksman would be Buddy from Blackbeard's crew. Then.
Oh, who the fuck is his marksman? The sick dude?
Is he sick?
Yeah, no, the dude with the guy, the one scope or whatever.
Yeah, Buddy with the scope.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be my marksman. I need a couple other girls, and then the big titty bitches would just be Hancock and
I mean, you got
Viola. I damn to have Viola as my navigator and move Katakuri to just the nigga that's with the shits.
Because you gotta have one of those on a party.
True that. And then that's it, bro.
Wow.
So Viola, my navigator. So Viola, I run it back. Me, Zoro, Sanji, Brooke, Viola, Katakuri, Marco, Buddy, the sniper from Blackbeard's crew, Boa Hancock, and I said one more, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And who's the other? Who was the last nigga?
You said big titty bitches. I remember that. And
so yeah, I had all right. That was Boa and Viola was the big titty
Viola.
bitches.
Yeah. Did you say koala already?
I said koala already.
The sniper dude from Blackbeard's crew.
Yep, I got him.
Said that. He said Katakuri.
Yep.
Sanji was the cook. Marco was the medic.
So
you had the musician. You had a musician.
Brooke.
Yeah, I think I said him. If I didn't, then him. But yeah, that's my crew, and we phone them pirates.
Phone them pirates. Y'all got any? Y'all got any rules and morals? You stand by?
Hey,
what's your motto, Jolly Roger?
If you get into a fight, no matter who it's with, you gotta fight, win or lose. Fuck that. Fuck that. All of y'all are capable fighters.
I thought your rule would have been point him out, knock him out.
Yeah, on God, on phone now.
Wow.
Point him out, knock him out. Straight up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, all man, that was a good game.
Yeah. Thanks.
No, of course.
I guess we'll wrap up the interview here then. So if you want to let them know where they can find you one more time, Sensei.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. Y'all can follow me on Twitter at Sensei Le Glove. Follow me on Instagram at Sensei Le Glove. That's why I put a lot of my content. That's why I get a lot of my takes off. I also put a lot engage with a lot of my Worst Gen podcast mates on there. So yeah, man, fuck with me. I'm actually editing a couple reaction that I just did to this Fire Force episode, as well as my review of yesterday's chapter right now. So that should be up in a couple hours. So yeah, fuck with me, man.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks again for being on, and hopefully we have you on in the future for some future interviews, or maybe as a guest on the podcast.
You guys can hop on. I definitely want to do a collab with you guys as well. Probably hop on my channel, man. Do a stream or some shit. I can ask you guys questions and hound you guys over the shit y'all like. I'm gonna ask your ass why Tagashi takes so many fucking breaks.
Hey man,
and
I can't answer that.
For shit.
Greatness takes time.
Does it?
Takes time.
Does it? You gonna be pissed when the fuck when this king shit don't pan out the way you think it will.
Thanks.
No, but thanks for having me, guys. For real, man.
Hey,
Shout
no
out
problem,
to you.
Man. Catch you later.
Yeah, of course, man.
Peace.
Peace.